So in typical fashion, I started the project before I started videoing. Going to be taking the aluminum trim off these windows. I've already kind of started here, you can tell. I just kind of pulled some of it off here. I got it on the deck here. But going to be pulling this off, painting it black. And then the plan is to cover up all this old aluminum siding with some cedar and kind of give it a different look here, and just have the black on the black on the cedar. I think will look better. My wife thought it would anyway. So this is kind of her Mother's Day present we're gonna do. She's been wanting to do this for a while. Right now, just fighting getting off the existing aluminum trim, so it's all caulked on. And I've just been cutting it with a razor blade, a razor knife, and then pulling it off. So the stuff I pulled off though we'll we'll sand and get it ready for black paint, and just probably use some Rust-Oleum paint on it or something like that. Just something that'll be durable, that'll stick well, and we will go from there. So got all the aluminum trim pulled off. You can see there's some old dimensions written on here from when they were doing it originally. It's kind of cool. The wood's in pretty good shape. Just need to get a lot of this old silicone off, and we'll get this other trim painted black and we'll put it back on and then get ready for the cedar. So got all the white trim painted black. It was kind of a real pain in the butt actually. It's had to go over all of it with razor blade just to get the majority of the silicone off, and then use the wire wheel on my drill. Got the rest of it off, and then sanded it lightly with some 150 sandpaper. And then after that, I just used some naphtha on a rag just to clean it all up and get any residue off so the paint would stick well. So that's what it looks like now. Nice, it's a satin black color, so hopefully it'll look good up there on the window. And so next, I think I'm gonna go get the wood and try to get this trim back up shortly after it's cured enough, and then we'll start putting up the cedar. I already put the bottom piece on just to make sure it was gonna look okay, and then I'm gonna do the rest now. I apologize guys, this video is all over the place. I'm just kind of doing this as I go and kind of getting some new ideas as I'm going. When I was at the hardware store today getting the wood, which you can see in there, I thought I'd get some aluminum cap, or aluminum angle iron. Well, it's not iron, but aluminum angle stock, just to paint black so I could have something to kind of cap the edges of the wood with, so they weren't just kind of out in the open. So this is what I ended up doing. I just took it and I scuffed it, and then I used some naphtha on it to get the oil and residue off of it, and then primered it and painted it black. So this is what we'll have on the ends. I'm gonna go ahead and put this stuff up now and get ready for the wood. All right, so you can see I just took the channel here and drilled some holes, and then kind of did a little bevel here for the screw head, so they'll fit in there flush, and then we're gonna mount that up here on the wall. I am using these trim head screws. They're just a number 1 square drive, and they'll fit right in here like so. And I'm gonna get a little black paint and dust these areas that have exposed real quick so we don't get any corrosion later. It's not gonna be really exposed to the weather too much, but just wanna make sure the paint stays on as long as it can. Okay, there's our edge for our wood to terminate up against. Like so. And over here you can see the wood will be between these two. This will get painted black right here, and it needs to be caulked still, so I need to do that as well when I'm finished. But let's get to putting up some wood. So these are the screws I'm using. They're just a trim head screw with a star pattern or Torx, whatever you want to call them. And they're kind of the wood color already, so they kind of hide well. And they won't have a big head on them, so we'll use these to put them up. I'm gonna go ahead and snap the string line down here to get started. The boards I have are all perfectly straight, and the one I want to start with is one of them. So I'm going to snap the string line to kind of help with that. Okay, so it's another day. I had to stop on this for a few days because I kind of got sick. But me and my wife were talking about this, and we don't really like the staggered look of the joints, like here and here. So I went back to the store and bought some actual 12-foot long boards. I didn't get that the other day because they were out of all the 12-foot boards, so I only was able to get a few. And we don't really want it to look like a pallet wall made out of cedar. We want it to look just like a plank wall. So I'm gonna pull some of these back off, the ones that aren't full strips, which is all of them but two, and then I'm just gonna refill them back in with actual full length 12-footers and continue that all the way up to the top. So I'll do that now. I'm gonna do a time lapse of that also because I know it's pretty simple really. I'm just doing screws every few feet, and I'm using a level to make sure they're straight because you can kind of see the holes a little bit still even though they're small, but I want them to look nice and straight and intentional. So we'll get going here on that. So the new wood I bought is from another store because Menards was sold out of the 12-footers, and it's thinner. The stuff from Menards I guess is 13/16, and the stuff from Sutherland's is actually 3/4. So I had 3 pieces of wood from Menards. I'm gonna have to run them through my planer and plane them down to 3/4 so I don't have a lip. So it's turning out to be a little more than I thought it would be. So I guess we'll do that. I may just put the rest of it up and pull those 3 back off and plane them later so I can keep moving on this right now. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know how that was going. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do it right now because I'll just be mad at my past self later because I didn't do it. So I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna pull them off and we're gonna plane them. I'm gonna go ahead and mount that last board I put up, that one there. Go ahead and get it installed. So I have one kind of a ledger board here to base the rest of the stuff off of when I put it back up here in a minute. So I'm gonna do that first, then I'll pull those bottom 2 boards off, those 2, and then I'll pull that one off and we'll plane them. And then I'll pull the rest of that stuff off up here. And we'll hopefully continue up the wall quicker now and with less problems. The only other issue I'm gonna have is moving the doorbell. And I have some wire for that, so hopefully that's uneventful. Get this off, we'll plane it, and then we'll go from there. So went ahead and just planed them all, just to make sure they're nice and smooth. So has them looking nice and pretty now. And they're all the same thickness, so I'll have some more to do here shortly when I get up higher, but right now I just want to get going on this so I can kind of get a majority of it done. So all right, so now I'm gonna go get my skill saw and I'm gonna cut this last board. You can probably see me measuring it there. I'm gonna notch it on both sides so it'll kind of be a big U shape basically to go around the window. And I'm just gonna use a skill saw and then my pull saw I have. I have a Japanese pull saw. They work pretty well for cutting wood. A little more forgiving than a jigsaw. The jigsaw, I'm worried with this cedar, it'll split. Cedar splits very easily, so I'm going to do that now. So I went ahead and pulled the doorbell. I'm gonna basically just extend those wires over here and move the doorbell out from the wall a little bit. We never really liked where it was at in the first place, so we kind of want it closer to the window. So this will be the time to do that. So I'm just gonna extend those wires over whenever I get up close to it, and then we'll mount the doorbell back in the same spot, just further to the right. Okay, so I have all the wood up. It looks really good. Just need to put the doorbell. I didn't show this in the original video here, just in the time lapse, but I got the doorbell wire moved over. Need to rehook up the doorbell, and it turned out really nice with the aluminum angle metal here. The angle, I keep wanting to say angle iron, but it's not iron, but that really capped it off really nicely on the ends. Kind of show that here. You can see just really clean, and you can see we still have some of the wood I used wasn't planed already, and it was still a little bit different, but it doesn't bug me at all. It kind of gives it some depth. So now we're going to put some stain on it. Now we're going to put some stain on it and try to get it protected from the weather here. And I'll back up a little bit more. And I'll get some final pictures here at the end of the video when it's all done. Okay, here it is all finished up with the stain on. We just went with the natural stain just to kind of keep it looking as natural as possible. We don't want to do an opaque covering over it like it was painted. So this really brings out the grain and all the knots in the cedar. It looks really nice. Have the doorbell up now too, as you can see, going in pretty well. Just extended the wires out to it, and it kind of helps too, so we can see a little bit more with our Nest camera there. And everything turned out good. I'm just gonna do a couple of other things here. I need to caulk around all the black, the aluminum siding or the aluminum trim covering. And then there's a couple strips here of gray I need to paint black still to finish that up. You can see there where the old mail slot was. I need to fill that in too. Other than that though, it's pretty much done. And I'll try to get a little further out video here too.